So for more on this, we bring in our analyst, Jamie Munro now. Jamie, you look at some of the guys that we've seen, Michael Krause and obviously Mac O'Keefe, the big ones this week who have made a decision whether to not come back or to come back. When you look at the broader situation here for college lacrosse, who have been the most impacted from the announcements we've seen so far?
Oh, man. I mean, geez, just about every direction, because you got coaches and administrators trying to figure out how to manage roster sizes and scholarships. And athletic directors trying to decide like where we want to allocate or if we want to allocate money. And there's an incredible disparity there. You've got all the kids that are trying to figure out, what to do. Obviously, these seniors, some of them have jobs. Like Michael Krause he's got a job lined up, and so some of them are moving on because they just didn't have time to line this up. Whereas I think maybe the freshmen, sophomore, juniors in the future have some time to plan for it a little bit. And of course, you got all the recruits, 2020s and 21s that are committed, and all these kids that are not committed that are being pretty impacted, and they don't even know exactly how yet. But that when you add another 150, fifth years to a pool of players each year, that's going to come out of the recruiting side of it, as far as a little bit of a deficit there.
So when you look at Virginia and Penn State in particular, to me, like Michael Krause is a great player, but Virginia has as much talent as anybody in the country when it comes to the attack position. Just look at what Peyton Cormier was doing when they were just trying to find ways to get him on the field. So my feeling is UVA is going to be okay. Penn State, how big is Mac O'Keefe coming back?
I mean, it's huge. He's one of the best shooters in the history of the game. Certainly he was on the receiving end of a lot of Grant Amen feeds. But he's a guy who stretches the defense that you don't really feel good about putting a short stick on, and it creates a lot of inside and slashing opportunities because you really just can't. You don't want to slide off them. You don't even want to sag off them. So it's huge for Penn State to get Mac O'Keefe back.
So, Jamie, you're talking about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff there a second ago, and I think that's what's been so interesting to listen to in terms of people you speak to, is that there are conversations going on between coaches and players. You got coaches trying to figure things out with administrators as well in terms of, are players going to be eligible for a fifth year at our school and in our conference? And then are we going to be able to fund the scholarship they were getting last year as a senior? In terms of what you've heard and things that you've discussed with people around the sport, what is the behind the scenes like right now in terms of trying to figure out this landscape?
Yeah, and it's pretty complicated. So we've got the NCAA has granted this fifth year, but it's going to be up to conferences and institutions to decide how they want to do it. So we know the Ivy League is still in deliberations, but many schools are saying, a conference is saying, you can fund your fifth year kids, you can have your, met roster cap. It's case by case, school by school. School like Ohio State announced last week that their 3 stars, player Terefenko and Hendrick, are all coming back on their money. They were all on like 0.8. So Ohio State is going to have their 12.6 plus 2.4. They're going to be at 15 scholarships. There's going to be other big time schools that are not going to pay their fifth year guys any extra money. Because they're sort of everyone's in the financial lockdown. A lot of people are. And then some are even going to say, we're not going to give you the flexibility of a larger roster cap. So it's going to be very hard for coaches to figure that out, but they will. And it sort of speaks to the fact that there's not going to be a level playing field. But then again, there never is, because not every school is fully funded. Not everybody's school, will fund recruiting at the same level or scholar or facilities or anything. So I think we're just going to kind of see who really wants to win in lacrosse, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, it's an interesting time in terms of college lacrosse, but a great time for you because you got your virtual lacrosse summit coming up here next week, and it's the perfect time for a virtual lacrosse summit with everybody staying home. And because of that, you got a loaded lineup of coaches. Tell us about some of the coaches and things you'll be talking about here over the next week or so.
For sure. And this is the 6th virtual lacrosse summit we've done, started January of 2019, and it's awesome. It's kind of like Shark Week of lacrosse. Next week, starting on Monday the 13th through Thursday the 16th, and our lineup is incredible. We've got Jerry Byrne, head coach of Harvard. Got Dave Petramala from Johns Hopkins. Tim McCormick, women's coach at ASU. Andrew Baxter, the head coach at Fairfield. Kylie Ohlmiller, one of the greatest women's lacrosse players in the game. Kevin Corrigan, head coach Notre Dame. Justin Tuma, assistant coach at High Point. John Galloway, head coach at Jacksonville and Team USA goalie. Stephen Brundage, the offensive coordinator from Hobart. Pat Myers, the head coach at Lafayette. To name a few, Tom Mariano, the head coach of the Bayhawks at Case University. Janet Drummond, the associate head coach at UMass. And there's a bunch more. All week long, pretty much at 12, 2, 4, 6, and 8 every single day. We're going to have amazing presentations from these folks. It's video-based, and their analysis and personalities will really keep you entertained.
And we can't wait to see that. Jamie, we always appreciate the insight. Thanks so much for the time, and good luck next week.
Hey, awesome, guys. Thanks so much.